Hi everyone, I was just about to say happy Monday, but it isn't Monday because on the 30th we actually had the last picture from the previous planner 2024, and now we're starting the 2025 planner. I'm actually not sure what day this is actually going to go out, but anyway, the idea is that this goes out before next Monday, the 6th, and then from now on, our first planner video of the week will be on a Monday. So it's just a little bit complicated when I've got two planners and two pictures to do in the same week. But this is our first picture in the planner. I'm actually going to fold it under because it gives me a little bit more to lean on. So I'm going to do that. Now I think this is from Small Victories. It's come in, oops, not quite that far, there we go. Now we have our sort of floating island. Now because it's Christmassy time of year, I didn't want to just do this as just a plain islandy picture. I thought we could, this here, which for me is probably a mossy bush, I thought it could be snow. We could make it a little bit sort of Christmassy, wintry rather than Christmassy maybe. So, but I'm going to start under here with our rocks and plants, then do our flowers. We'll deal with the snow at the end, I think. So let's do it that way and see where it takes us really. Now with these rocks, I think it's easiest to do the green first, our plants, and then do the rocks after. So that's how I'm going to approach it. Now what colour for our rocks? Well, I'm thinking because I'm doing a wintry theme, then a colder colour like greys might be better. So that's where my thoughts are. So I'm going to start with a cool grey deep. These are Castle Art Soft Touch pencils, by the way. I've got the 120 set, and I'm just going to start filling in really all the details. So I'm just doing a layer. You know how I said we're going to do the plants first? Oh dear. For me, I think it'd be easier to do them first. But so once I've done this bit, I am going to do them. I know, I'm sorry. My brain's all over the place today. Lots to think about. But anyway, distract myself with some colouring, and we will do these greens. Now thinking about the greens, I'm going to come back and do more work on that particular rock later, but I just wanted to get that initial layer done. And thinking about the greens, for a colder palette, I feel like a bluey green is better, or maybe even a terre verde, which it can be more of a grey green depending on which one you grab. I think I'm going to grab, let me see, we might use this. It's a bit bluey. Maybe not. We'll go for the terre verde. We'll use that one for these. Here he is. It's quite a dark one actually. Just going to sharpen it because we've got these, I'm doing these really little ones here, so I need a sharp point. And I am actually just going to block them in with this greeny colour. Like that. I'm not doing anything fancy just because they're little. And if this is from Small Victories, which I'm pretty sure it is, and if you are colouring along in there, I don't know if this picture is even smaller in that book or if this is the actual size. I'm going to do this one here too. I think this one is the same. Now this one to me looks a bit different, and these, so we'll leave that one. I'm just going to move my grey so I don't get muddled. So let's see, where should we go next for colour? Viridian is a nice bluey green. Just give it a sharpen. There it is, Viridian. I think I'm going to do these. I think I'm just going to, again, just use the one colour. Oops, maybe fade it to the tip a little bit. See how that works. I think it'll be okay. Keeping it fairly simple. Goodness, it's nearly, or it might already be New Year, I'm assuming. I'm not sure when I'm going to put this video out, but I haven't yet. I mean, I'm recording this, it's the 16th of December, and I haven't yet had anyone say to me, see you next year, which is always quite disconcerting, I think. But I think you only really get it, I only usually hear it on New Year's Eve, to be honest. Some people say it a bit earlier, but then there's no guarantee you're not going to see a person, is there? But yeah, I don't do New Year's very much. I usually go to bed, get a bit miserable when all the fireworks go off and make a lot of noise, and just catch up with all the fireworks that people have done, you know, cities have done in the morning, because there's always videos and things to watch, so I don't need to stay up to see them, especially as I find it's nice looking at all the different countries, and you can't stay up for everyone. Well, I guess some people, maybe they do, but that would be 24 hours. This is Sakura screen. I think I'm going to use this colour for the bigger leaves. I think they're all the same. I'm just looking back and forth a little bit to decide, and I think I am going to do them all the same colour. And again, I'm just going to put a lot of colour in here at the base, and then slowly do less towards the tip of the leaf. Yeah, I think New Year's traditions are odd, aren't they? You have the whole Auld Lang Syne song in Scotland, very traditional. I don't really know what the words mean. Some of the words are in sort of oldie Scottish, not I don't know if they're in Gaelic or not, but anyway, I don't really understand them all. And then is it Times Square, they drop a giant ball. Is it like a glitter ball or something? I don't really know what it is. I don't know what, I just guess it just signifies the year or something, I don't know. And then in London we just hear the striking of Big Ben, the bell in the Elizabeth Tower in the Houses of Parliament. And then we didn't used to have people setting off fireworks at New Year when I was young, because people only used to sell fireworks in November for Guy Fawkes Night, fireworks night, which I know not all countries do, but so by the time it came to New Year's, there were none for sale. So unless people held on to them, which is actually quite dangerous really, isn't it, hold on to them too long, there weren't any, so it didn't really happen. So, and I think it's because cities do put on displays that it sort of gives people ideas to have a go themselves, you know. It's obviously, well, I was going to say it's a lot cheaper, but I don't know how much they charge, because I know in London you used to just be able to watch it, and I think they ticket it now, but I'm not sure whether it's free tickets, just ticketed so that they can make sure, keep an eye on how many people are there for health and safety reasons, you know, numbers, or whether they do charge. I don't know. Never been. I have been to London, but never to that, because I'm going to use the phthalo green for the last bit. I'm just trying to find it. That looked like it, but it wasn't. Prussian green. Castle green light. Is that it? Castle green deep. Maybe this is it. Nope, phthalo green light. Phthalo green, there we go, found it. Phthalo green. Yeah, so no, I know my husband's uncle used to have a flat which overlooked that part of London, and he would invite his children to go and watch it from his balcony or window, whatever. That's the way to do it, isn't it? In the dry, in the warm. Right, we're going back to our cool grey deep, and if we look closely here, you might be able to see where I've missed when I've gone around the edges of all the petals. So now I've coloured them in, I can go back around that and just fill it in. But what I actually want to do with this is to do the edges of each brick rock. a bit darker and then sort of fade it in towards the middle. That was always my intention, but I got sort of distracted by doing the green bit. But we are back at it now. So the idea is to try and make it look a bit textured by putting in some sort of shadows and different bits of colour, really, like that. There we go. Now I'm going to do another brick with this colour as well. I think this big one here, again, a light layer first and then around the edges in a heavier colour. It helps me to see what's going on if I do a bit of a colour first. Helps me to imagine how it might look. So that's why I do that. I always feel like New Year's almost signifies just the end of Christmas, really, which is a bit sad, I think. It's probably another reason I don't like it. I like Christmas. So I think I have set some really vivid memories of childhood Christmases, where I was so excited, wanted to open my present. I remember waiting for guests to arrive before I was allowed to open anything. Oh, that was like torture. And it's sort of, I remember that particular occasion sitting with my sister and we were looking at one of our joint presents, and it was a box, as they often are, and I'm just looking for my next grey. I'm going to go for the Paynes grey. I think it's slightly lighter, I think, than the ones we used. Okay. So we were looking at this present that was a joint present between us, and we were looking and we weren't allowed to open it, and we were just sitting there looking at it, sitting on the floor. It was on the floor and we were just sitting on the floor next to it looking at it, and we were sort of being really naughty, and we sort of picked off a little bit of the paper, a little corner, and we were trying to peep and guess. And yeah, and then when the guests arrived we just tore the paper off. Got into trouble. You've got to wait for them to have a cup of tea first before you can start opening anything. It's like, why do they need a cup of tea? Why do grown-ups always need a cup of tea? Or can do anything. Oh dear. And I was like, why can't they get here really early? Why can't we just fetch them before breakfast? Because they don't want to get up. Oh dear. I just didn't understand. Well, surely they're excited. No, they're grown-ups. Right. I want a slightly different, those are quite similar shades. Sorry, I'm just going to blow my nose and then choose. Now, the problem I have now is that my lighter greys are actually quite brown. So the warm grey light, the Davies grey, even the charcoal grey, quite brown. I think I'm going to go for the cool grey, and I'm going to try and colour it lighter. Okay, so when I do my initial colour, I'm going to hold the pencil quite low and try to keep it light, and hopefully it will look a bit different, because I want the different blocks, because they're separated into different blocks, to look different. So here I am darkening but really gently, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to see a bit of a darker area but without it being heavy, if you know what I mean. There, that's okay. It's quite difficult to colour lightly. It's a better method really, because it's better for your hands. You don't strain your muscles so much. If you're pushing down hard, you can hurt yourself. Also, you can layer up the colours more gently. If you make a mistake and you haven't pushed it down into the paper, then you can erase it more easily or colour over it with some different colour layers. So all in all, it is a better technique, but to be honest, it's not one that I use very often, because I think I'm just a bit heavy-handed, also a bit lazy. I just want to get it done, get the colour down. So edges a bit more layered. I'm still being quite cautious not to push down too hard because I don't want it too intensely dark. If you're using a different set of pencils with more cool greys, then you can just use a lighter one. I want to go really dark in here. You can see how dark this is as I layer it up down here, and why it was such an effort to get it quite light there. But there we are. We've got our different colour rocks. I'm just going to put a bit more there. I'm just fussing now. There we go. There we go. I think that's okay. Now, thinking florals, I think, next. Now I'm thinking we're on snow, flowers on snow, obviously that's how it all works. I'm thinking that our a dark blue might go quite nicely with snow. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to colour my snow, and I think I think a cobalt blue would look rather nice here. There we go. Again, we've got a cold colour to go with our cold palette. Now I'm going to try and fade them towards the tip. And I'm thinking as I'm going, what am I going to do with the centres? Because the centres are quite big, aren't they? I quite like the idea of trying to make them look raised. So I'll need a dark colour, I think. I could do it with a light colour, but I actually want a dark colour. So I'm just thinking a little bit. I might go for like an indigo-y type colour. Oh, I thought I was doing that one. I'm doing this one. Doesn't matter. I am trying to do them a little bit darker at the base of the petals, but I don't know if it's really showing up very well. We also have a bit of a problem with our building in that we've got windows, and if we want the building to look inviting and cosy, we need to put yellow in the windows. But if we want it to look cold, then yellow isn't quite necessarily the right colour. But I could do like a lemon yellow. I also find that looks a little bit colder, so maybe I'll grab one of those. It's nice starting a new book. I have done the title page already, but I did the video before this, so I still feel like this is a new book to me today, so it's rather fun, and I'm rather looking forward to looking week by week at the pictures. And I realised that I've done a flip through. Indigo light, yes, that's what I'm going to use. But I can't find it. I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, here it is. So yeah, I'm rather looking forward to rediscovering, because I did the flip through back in, was it August, I think? So I'm trying to get this really dark here and then lighter towards the centre. Like that. Yeah, it's it's nice. And Johanna's new book will be coming out. I was actually going to look and see whether we've got whether it's appeared on Amazon yet. I can't remember if it has or not, because she hasn't told us the name of it, has she? And as soon as it appears on Amazon, we'll know what it is. So I was going to have a little check. I can't remember what time of year they seem to appear. I always think it's quite early. It's definitely before she's even drawn the cover or had it approved, and before she's finished the book. I can't imagine how stressful that would be to have people pre-ordering something that you hadn't even finished. Right, these look a bit odd and plain. I'm going to use a little bit of white pen in the centres to just, I'm going to do it now because I think otherwise it just looks a little bit odd to pick them up. So around the edge here where the black line is, I'm going to put a line, and then I'm just going to randomly dot through the middle. And this might end up looking a bit like snow because they're sitting in the snow, but I don't mind. I might, but the only thing is we haven't got any on the petals, so maybe that'll stop it looking like snow. The way around. There we go, and the last one. Now, how are we doing for time? 20 minutes is fine. Right, I need to decide on what I'm doing with the snow and how I'm going to colour it. Now, I had considered doing it with grey and purple, which is a way that I had showed you before, but I actually feel that we've used all our greys down here for our rocks, so I'm not feeling that it's going to necessarily work. However, we have this mauve which is a grey purple, so I thought this might be ideal, so I'm going to give it a go. Now, I know snow isn't mauve, we all know snow isn't mauve, but I think it can add like a sort of shadowy look to parts of the snow. So see what I'm doing? I'm putting quite a deep amount and then just tapering it off like that to try to make it look like there's some shadowy bits on our snow. That's the plan. So I'm actually going to just take this all the way along the edge. I've got a bit of a smudge going on there anyway. So leaving a white edge to it all, I find that makes quite the difference. And going all the way around. I'm just going to do this big main bit at the moment. I know we've got the other bit behind as well. Oop. Don't have to be hugely accurate. We're not going to be measuring it with a ruler to make sure you've got exactly the same distance from each part. So here we want to fade it from both sides and sort of fade it off a bit towards the middle. So they sort of touch, but there's a lighter area. And then just gently bringing it in and fading it towards that centre section. Have a bit less here. Now for you that might not look snowy enough, but we're going to come in with a white pen and add in a few bits and pieces that will hopefully help to sort of transform it, I guess, into a more... Just taking my specs off, getting a bit clear, that's better. Much better, I can see now. And just sort of fading it up. I don't want like a blank white bit in the middle, but I want a lighter bit. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with this top bit. This is a little trickier. I think I'm going to just take my line around this top edge and colour all the way down to the flowers. Like that. And then go down from that edge towards the flower. Try to fade as you go. It's not easy. Do the best that you can. now we can get our white pen, but if we white out this whole edge bit, it begins to look more snow-like. Now obviously this is going on to white, but it still seems to help. I think we'd have to do the top first, or else I might end up smudging it. Do the very top bit, we'll go up here. Now you may want to do more than one layer of white. Sometimes I don't mind if we can see a little bit through, if it's just fading it rather than completely eliminating it. It's hard to tell until we've done the rest of the page really, whether it needs a little bit more white. I'll just do one layer and then I'll move on, and I may end actually and do the rest in a second video, but either way I will decide on whether it needs more white pen right at the end rather than right now. Coming back to here. Now these dots I'm going to cover over as well. I think we've got some up there. Yeah. There we go. We can make some progress around here. And you can, of course, outline everything that's black with a white pen. Some people do. I find it's very, very time consuming, and I actually find it very difficult to colour over the top of white pen. I find I either can't get the colour to adhere to it at all, or I end up scratching it off. So I guess I just need more practice, but it's just not something that I enjoy doing, and so I don't do it very often. I think I'm a firm believer in enjoyment. We should be enjoying ourselves, and with our hobbies particularly. So, this isn't working. Let's just scribble it. And a work pen. That's it. Perhaps it's because I was holding it on its side a little bit. I would do that like with a pencil, but I think white pens prefer to be held a bit more upright. I guess it makes sense, doesn't it? Perhaps the ink to flow down to the nib. But I always feel like if I keep it tilted you can see better. But you don't really need to watch to colour along with this. It's just covering up the lines. And I find that I have to concentrate a lot, so I don't tend to talk as much when I'm using pen compared to pencil. There we go. I've got lots of dots down here. And you could do them in a silver to make it look like there's some frost or, you know, ice, some sort of shine, but I'm just going to cover them over. There's more up there that I missed. Go. I find the white edge just really makes such a difference when you're trying to make either snow or icing. Similar technique. There. Often the same, you know, a snowy, a bit of gingerbread icing that's supposed to, gingerbread house icing that's supposed to look like snow, that sort of thing. I've had a lot of fun colouring wintry and Christmassy cut pictures. I don't know how long I'm going to go on for. I think I just get to a point where I've had enough and I'll put them away, but certainly not yet. There we go. I always find that, you know, I have to wait a bit to be in the mood, and then when I do it, it never seems to last long enough, so I think it's better to keep going. Right, we have done 30 minutes and I'm actually going to leave the video there and come back and do the houses and things in the second video, I think. Well, it is just the houses. I haven't decided what colours I'm going to do them yet. So that's part of the reason for me stopping, because I do need to make a decision. I'm pretty much sure of what I'm doing with the roofs, but I don't know what. I'm really bad at deciding what colour to do walls of houses, so we'll see. But for now I'm gonna go. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you'll pop back tomorrow for the next part. But for now, thank you and happy colouring.